This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, one of the most popular cameras last year, and I've had it for about 6 months. I want to answer the question, is it worth it in 2025? Short answer, if you want to mess up all my analytics and not stay till the end, I'd say it is worth it. Links in the bio if you want to help out a little bit. Now, I've used it extensively. I've used it for behind the scenes. I've used it for travel. I've used it for talking head videos. I've used it for client work. I've got a good amount of tests done on this. Let's get into a couple of the details. Now, for the most part, I'd say pretty much everything about this camera I like. There's really only 2 or 3 negatives that I can come up with, and they're not huge negatives, to be honest. I'm gonna break down how I use it the most often and what I've noticed. Now, my number one use case for this is a behind the scenes camera. When I'm shooting weddings, I'll set it up somewhere and I can have it as a behind the scenes camera for that. Or when I'm shooting portraits, whether that's in studio or outdoors, I like to set it up somewhere to work as a behind the scenes camera, kind of showing the process of what I'm doing. My favorite part about this being a behind the scenes camera is the face tracking. You're able to set it up so that way it'll see your face and follow you no matter where you go. The way I was doing this before was with the Insta360 Flow. This one over here, that would hold your phone into it, and then your phone does the tracking. Same idea, where it's just face tracking and follows you around. But this, compared to this, that's a big size difference. And using this allows me to still have my phone, which I didn't realize how often I needed it to look back at Pinterest boards or YouTube or whatever it is while I'm on the shoot, until I was using this and couldn't use it. But this is still really good. And it folds up nicely. But anyway, there are a couple accessories that make this even better. And again, I'll link all this down below. Like this housing for it, and it's also got a magnet on the back side here. This magnetic clip, and then the pocket rests in this part over here. So with the right accessories, you can mount it pretty easily. Or I even use, I don't see it in here right now. I gotta clean this drawer. The Insta360 extendable tripod, extendable selfie stick. That's another really good one that works great for it. So as a behind the scenes camera, I usually leave it in auto so I don't have to mess with the settings. Throw on an ND filter. I like the variable ones like this. It's small, pretty discreet, so it's not drawing too much attention, especially at a wedding. And then if I need it to act as a main camera, I can just take it and use it as a main camera. This comes in handy a lot because this is a 20mm lens, and most of the time I'm using a 28-75 on my main camera, so I'm able to get a much wider shot using something like this, which is great for establishing shots or showing the full landscape of something. When I use it for talking head videos, the big advantage that this has over using something like your phone is that you can still see yourself. So I can set it up so it's pointing at me, use the face tracking on here, connect it wirelessly with one of the DJI mics, and we're good to go. Let's talk about the quality real quick. In my opinion, it's very good quality, but is it much better than what your phone can produce? So I want to do a quick test on this, and I'm going to put up 2 images here. One shot on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, one is shot on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It was honestly a lot harder than I thought to be able to tell the difference between phone versus pocket. Neither of these are shot in log. I only did a very slight color correction on them to make them look pretty close. And yeah, I'd say they're pretty close. It's got a wider lens than the iPhone, so 20mm instead of 24. And of course, there are some advantages that make the Pocket a much better camera in my opinion. One being the gimbal that's built in, so you always have smooth, steady shots, although the stabilization on the iPhone is pretty good. 2 is the magnetic ND filters. ND filters are a must, and having them quick and easy just with the magnet to put onto the camera, I feel like that's a huge plus. 3 is the wireless connection for the DJI Mic 2. Makes recording audio easy. And 4, you can still see yourself when you're recording. If I'm using my iPhone, I have to either keep going back and forth to check the shots or look into buying one of those like external monitors for the iPhone. With this, it's easy. You have the screen right there. When I really got to test this the most was when I brought it with me to Mexico. I was shooting some content for a couple different resorts down there. Dope experience. And I didn't always want to use my A7 IV. Sometimes I wanted a more discreet camera, something a little bit smaller, easy in and out of the pocket. Or other times, the A7 IV I was using mainly for photos, and I needed that for video. I did use the A7 IV a lot of times for video. I rented a 35mm G Master for it, but I really wanted to try out what the Pocket could do. So I use it a lot down there, and I'm really thoroughly impressed with the quality for it. It got some really good establishing shots. It works great when shooting people. I even used it in auto probably about 50% of the time. A little bit less than 50, but I even used it in auto and it did a really good job. Shots were smooth, well balanced with color, and easy to mix and match with the A7 IV, even the iPhone. Now, I mentioned earlier there are a couple negatives that I have with this camera, but really nothing major. All stuff that might even be fixed if they release a new, well, I'm sure they're gonna release a new one. This one made a ton of money. So thing number one, I would just love for this to be water resistant. I know that's tough to do with the gimbal and with the flip out screen, but if it was water resistant, I think that would be a huge plus and unlock all kinds of new possibilities. Two, in auto, sometimes it gets really, really soft, in my opinion, especially when shooting people in auto, which I know if you're doing it professionally, you're probably not using auto, but there are some times when you just don't want to mess with the settings, have something nice, quick, point and shoot. In my opinion, it can be a little bit soft when you do that. So as often as possible, use your pro settings. And number three, this might even be something that's already in there. I just couldn't find it. So if you know this setting exists, just let me know. I wish it had a way to lock the screen so that way you can't accidentally press something. There were at least 4 times when I noticed too late that my thumb must have moved and hit the screen. And then I was either shooting in D-Log when I didn't want to be, or turned on HDR by accident when I didn't want it on. Just little things like that, that if it had some kind of a lock on the screen, or I guess if my hands weren't so big, then the problem would have been solved. But see what I mean? It's not huge things. It's not like, oh my God, this is unusable. It's just a couple quick things that would make this camera even better. Now, I picked up the regular Osmo Pocket 3. I didn't pick up the Creator Bundle, mainly because that only comes with 1 microphone, and I knew I wanted 2 DJI mics, so I would end up spending the money again on the DJI mic, so I just bought them separately. But of course, now I kind of want that wide-angle lens for it. I kind of want the tripod feet for it, so I'm going to shop around, see what else I can add to it. But overall, this surprised me at how much I enjoy using it, how easy it is to use. I could even have my girlfriend hold it for a behind-the-scenes camera. She's not gonna like that, but she could be like a second shooter sometimes, behind-the-scenes shooter, and just shoot something quick and easy. I could give it to a bridesmaid or a groomsman and just tell them, hey, walk around with this for a couple minutes, just get some shots. I've got a lot of ideas because it's such an easy camera and it's not intimidating. For beginners, for pros, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 in 2025, yeah, I definitely think that is worth it. If the Pocket 4 comes out this year, I'm gonna have to make an update to the video, but we'll see. Like and subscribe for more.